I am Franziska Trede from the Education for Practice Institute, and my think piece is about pedagogies for professional practice graduate learning outcomes. It can be a challenge to keep up with all the new developments at CSU regarding smart learning, graduate learning outcomes, assessment moderation, workplace learning policy, curriculum design, and reporting systems. On the one hand, rapid change can stop conversations and squeeze out deliberations, especially when we are under pressure to get things done. On the other hand, the pace of rapid change can also be a stimulus to rethink what's happening and to question what is actually the purpose of university education. That is why I want to use this think piece to pause, stop and reflect about what pedagogies can inform professional practice GLOs. Up front, there are two things I want to bring to your attention about the professional practice GLOs. First, that they overlap with other CSU GLOs. We intentionally kept overlap between these GLOs to emphasize that each warrants their own existence within a distinctive CSU degree. All CSU courses can and need to address all of the professional practice GLOs, but to make them relevant to your course, some professional practice GLOs are more amplified while others are more attenuated. GLOs are not written for individual subjects but for the CSU courses and should be addressed throughout the course and achieved at graduation. The second thing to notice is that the professional practice GLOs focus on practice and not on textbook knowledge or disciplinary specific skills. Practice is a bigger concept than knowledge and skills. Practice is also about dispositions, professional values, workplace cultures, politics, materials, technical instruments, professional judgment, policies, routine and rhythms, and last not least, practice is shaped by people. Professional practice and the way we act, relate and talk with others is a social activity. To practice well is to work well with others. When students enter a professional practice as newcomers, they are reminded that practice already exists and communities of practices are already established. But over time, some aspects of practice dissolve and new ones emerge. Community of practice membership changes. Practice is not static but dynamic. We had students tell us that what they learned on placement was to hate old people. Others said they could only reflect critically as much as their supervisor allowed them to, and yet others said they were only allowed to observe and learned nothing. So, simply exposing students to placement experiences is not enough. Preparing for and critical debriefing after placements is a pedagogical imperative for transformative learning and safe preparation for practice. The pedagogies that prepare students well for professional practice emphasize purposeful deliberateness about student agency, collaboration, participation and reflection. Ideas of community of practice, learning by doing and reflecting on experiences need to be critically appraised for their purpose and quality. From my body of research of exploring the learning experiences of students, academics and placement educators, I have come to the conclusion that education for professional practice benefits from a pedagogy of deliberateness. The deliberate professional is someone who deliberates on the complexity of practice. For example, they think about the cultural, political or emotional aspects that shape practice. They understand probable, possible and impossible options for how to practice. They take a deliberate stance in positioning self in practice. For example, they make a conscious decision when to shut up and when to speak up, or when to let things happen and when to make things happen. And they are aware of and responsible for the consequences of their actions or inactions. These four characteristics help students to develop their professional identity and ethical courage. As responsible academics, we should ask ourselves how to prepare students to enter a community of practice sensitively and appropriately. How to open students' eyes and sensitize them to learn from participation and observation. How to nurture reflection so students learn how to act differently in the future. These deliberate intentions in applying workplace learning pedagogies of participation, collaboration and reflection are important when we want to produce CSU graduates with gumption and not prepare them to copy yesterday's practice. Be selective with your learning strategies and consider why, when, and what can be learned from textbooks and simulations, and why, when, and what needs to be learned through authentic placements and with practitioners in the workplace. This means that there is an absolute imperative that we academics are deliberate about educational designs of courses, claim professional ownership of pedagogical intentions with a clear rationale, because a focus on pedagogy will ensure good achievement of professional practice GLOs.